Yeah, that's what's up. I spent some time in Raleigh, man. I lived there for a few years. In fact, my partner and our recording studio is in Raleigh.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to everybody in Raleigh. Now, tell me about the transition from the debut record until the self-titled album.
The debut record, She's Fly, was kind of, Forever Yours. That was the name of the CD. Not really sure what direction, or if it was going to be the ballads or if it was going to be the dance music. So the first album was real eclectic. And then the second album was a little bit more focused, the Tony Terry album. And then when With You came out as a single, it overshadowed everything else that I had done. People forgot about the 3 dance hits that I had before that.
And basically that song right there pretty much was like sealed the deal.
Sealed the deal. And then all of a sudden I'm a balladeer, whether I wanted it to be or not.
Now, what was the inspiration behind With You?
Well, the person who wrote the song, Raymond Reeder, I went to high school with. And he, interestingly enough, he had a crush on this girl who I also had a crush on, but I didn't know he had a crush on. So years later, With You, I graduated high school in '82, and I didn't get to record With You until 1990. And that's when he presented the song. I didn't know the story. I didn't know that he had written it about this mutual person that we both knew. And I actually recently ran into her, and I worked with her this summer on a show in Atlantic City. And told her the story. She didn't know that the song had been written about her either.
Wow, so it was kind of like a R. Kelly, Usher, same girl situation.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Now,
my man Chris Brown has a song out With You right now. And I heard him say that my song was the inspiration for that song.
Wow. That's definitely big, to have somebody that's in the game now telling you that, my current song that's a hit was basically because of you that gave me the lightning rod.
Yes, sir.
Now, a lot of people probably done told you this, like, I done had With You played at the first dance to my wedding reception.
Oh, yeah.
I done had somebody sing this at our wedding. It basically became like a wedding staple.
Yeah, it has. And especially, I did this high-profile wedding for Al Cunningham. And Al Cunningham, my wife was saying another name, but it was Al Cunningham. And the show, the wedding was filmed for a TV show called Whose Wedding Is It Anyway? And I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't get hired to make an appearance on this TV show. But they taped the wedding and they taped my performance, and they asked me if I would sign a release, so that they could present it on television. And since then, man, I've been getting crazy calls to do weddings, man.
That's definitely what's up. Now, this question is coming from my man, Jodeci out in the UK. He wants to know, did you sing with Jodeci on the Everlasting Love remix?
I did. Jodeci, they were youngsters, man. They were about to, well, they weren't new to the business because they grew up singing gospel music. But they were just about to make their breakthrough in R&B music, and they had just moved to New York from, I believe it's Charlotte, North Carolina, that they were living at the time. And I had them come up and sing on the remix, absolutely. It was hot, too, man. It was great. It was so much fun.
So that was around the time when they were doing backing vocals for Father MC.
I didn't know they did. Oh, yes, they did.
Treat Them Like They Want to Be Treated, and I think
That's
Lisa
right.
Baby.
That's right.
And that was a year away from Forever My Lady, which was pretty much produced by Al B, Kyle West, and Devontae. And the young P. Diddy had a hand in helping Jodeci, with the whole bad boy image as opposed to Boyz II Men clean-cut R&B image.
That's right.
Now, tell me about after the debut album and going into the next record, knowing that With You pretty much became a big hit.
Well, With You, again, was it was a #1 R&B record for me. And after that, You know, there's an interesting story about When I'm With You and how it actually came to be, because it almost didn't even get a chance to see the light of day. When it was time to select the next single off of that album, the Tony Terry CD, you know, I got called into a meeting at my label, which was Epic at the time, and basically was told that the song was really corny and that only Stevie Wonder could get away with such a thing. I mean, they really tried to talk me out of, you know, putting out this song. And, you know, I just really felt passionately about it and pretty much insisted that they release it. And they did release it, but they released it without any support. You know, no pre-roll, no fanfare that is coming, even though I had a couple of hit records on the label. But they just didn't believe in the song. All of a sudden, well, not really all of a sudden, because it took a while, it started creeping up the charts. And it wouldn't go away. Mm-hmm. It started slowly climbing the charts. And it got into, like, the top 20. And I remember one day walking to our office, and the receptionist was not sitting at her desk, and the phone rang. And I answered the phone just because I was walking by. And it was Anita Baker. And Anita Baker was, you know, she introduced herself. This is Anita Baker, and I'm calling for Tony Terry. And I thought it was a joke, but it was really her, man. And once she convinced me that it was her, you know, she told me that she had been awakened, that she was asleep the night before, and I had been on Arsenio. And I performed with you, and she had never heard the song before, and she was blown away by it. She told me she absolutely loved it, and she asked me about the video. At that time, there was no video. What's up with the video for the song? Well, I think, well, you know, the record company doesn't even believe in the song. They don't think the song is a hit. She was like, what? They're absolutely out of their minds. She said, Tony Terry, I'm sending you $50,000. And this was, you know, I'm still kind of new in the business. She said, I'm sending you $50,000. Shoot a video for With You. And I'm going to turn you on to my friend Blair Underwood. We all know Blair Underwood.
Of course.
And I want Blair to direct it, and, you know, this and that. And the next day, 2 days later, actually, there was a certified check in my office for $50,000 to shoot the video. That was unheard of, that an artist from another label would produce video for another artist. Mm-hmm. Was out of this world. Was crazy. And then the song became #1, and then all of a sudden, everybody at the record label was like, oh, brilliant. We knew this was a hit. We knew it all along. Mm-hmm. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that labels was sometimes make boo-boo the fool moves, but thankfully they didn't make a boo-boo the fool move with that record.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yeah, well, fortunately, it worked in my favor. And then at that point, I thought, okay, I'm with this label, and we've had 4 hit songs, 4 hit records, and they still don't believe in me. And so now what do I do? So I asked them to let me go. And that was a fight. I had to you know, do some heavy hitting to get out of my deal with Epic Records. But what ultimately happened was I signed a new deal with Virgin. Virgin ended up buying my deal from Epic, and we did the 3rd album, Heart of a Man, which featured the single When a Man Cries.
Okay, tell me about that record.
When a Man Cries is, I like to tell stories, and it's a story about my friend's father. And I don't want to say my friend's name, mm-hmm. but you know, he grew up. He and his sister is a brilliant musician. And I will say this: she is the first female, let alone black woman, to sit as music director on Saturday Night Live, which she holds that position right now.
Wow.
As we speak. Well, she and her brother are Army brats. And the story is that, you know, their father, being the military man that he was kind of a rigid guy, you know, probably expected of someone who, you know, a military person like that, and kind of not emotional, at least to them. And they found themselves in a situation on their way home from an event where a woman on the side of the road that they were passing was in distress and stopped them, and they pulled over to help her, and the situation was that her husband was in the car having a heart attack, And, you know, so they tried to help, but the gentleman passed away.